All right. Good morning, Chair Postman, board members Garrett and Hauge, and staff. The lobby is open and recording has begun.
Thank you, Dustin. Good morning, everybody. We will convene the board caucus meeting for Tuesday, November 16th, 2021. Our first order of business is approval of minutes from the September 8th executive management team meeting where Member Hauge was not there. So, Member Garrett, a motion?
I move approval of the September 8th EMT meeting minutes.
Great. I second that. Approve. And then approval of the November 9th, 2021 minutes from the board caucus. A motion to approve that. We were all there for that one.
I'll move approval.
And I second.
Great. Okay. We now are going to hear from Nicola Reed, the Compliance and Adjudications Manager, for a review of tribal notification processes. Ms. Reed.
Good morning, Chair Postman, Board Member Garrett and Hauge. So this morning, licensing is bringing before you today a process that we have been doing since approximately 1997, and that is notifying the Yakima tribe anytime a liquor license is applied for one of the 10 ceded lands that were part of an agreement signed with the Confederate tribes and bands of the Yakima Nation, officially known as the Treaty of 1855. Since 1997, if a liquor license application is applied for, we will notify the Yakima tribe as a courtesy. And up until 2014, if any objections were received, that notification would go before the Director of Licensing to make a decision or her designee. Approximately August of 2014, the then board members and chair wanted to take the review and decision authority back and then started reviewing them themselves. Recently, we did receive an objection to a liquor license in the city of Wapato, where the mayor has approved and Yakima Nation has objected. And since it has been quite a while since we've reviewed this process, we thought it would be good to go before the board and to see if how we currently process the reviews or any objections is still how you would like to proceed. And so we come before you today with really just one question. We would continue to notify Yakima Nation anytime there is a liquor license within one of the 10 ceded towns. But for board consideration, we are asking if the board would like to delegate that authority back to the Director of Licensing or her designee if any objection were to be received, or if the board would like to maintain the review and decision authority that you currently hold. And may I answer any questions for you?
Yeah, one just, I appreciated the briefing you were able to give me earlier on this and looked through the documents. Just because, so what if we delegate this back to licensing, that would be more standard operating procedure, right? The piece of this that brought it to the board was an exception to the system as a whole. Is that right?
Yes, bringing it back to licensing, we keep it aligned with all other decisions on applications, especially because ultimately the board does make the final decision. It would keep the process, if an appeal were to come in or anything like that, a little cleaner. Mm-hmm.
Right, that's true. And the other thing was I had asked, was there any reasoning given for the change back when it happened? And we really don't have any record of that other than somebody saying from here on in, we're going to do it a different way, right?
There was just one email from a licensing manager to staff updating them that the board would be taking over the reviews. It was around the time of initial cannabis legislation, so I don't know if it had anything to kind of do with that and cannabis licenses potentially applying to be on tribal lands, which they couldn't be within federal lands anyways. But I'm not sure if any of that tied together or the board just at that time thought it would be in the best interest for them to review.
Okay. Member Hauge or Garrett, thoughts or questions? No?
No, I have no questions. We got fully briefed on this, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, okay. Then let's see here. We actually have to do this in two pieces, though, right, Ms. Reed? We have two separate motions. The first would be whether or not to continue to provide that notification to the Yakima Nation. Is that right? And then the second would be to delegate that authority back to licensing?
It would just be the one motion of would the board like to consider delegating the authority back?
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Because then we would just continue notification as it stands. Okay, great. Okay, great. Well, then I will entertain whether there's a motion to delegate the authority back to the licensing director.
I move that we delegate the authority back to the licensing director.
I will second.
Great, that is approved. Thank you, Ms. Reed. Appreciate that.
Thank you for your time this morning.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jean. That then is our actual last piece of action on the agenda. But I do think, members, we should just talk real quick about next week. We don't have a board meeting on the 24th scheduled. And the question is whether we should have a caucus on the 23rd. I will be on an airplane, though, so I would not be able to join. So if that's up to you both, if you have some issue you want to bring up next week, or whether you want that day off. Well, not that you get the day off, but you wouldn't have to do a meeting.
Wouldn't have to do a caucus. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it too. Can't imagine much significant happening now. Getting the legislative package reviewed, I think, was the big hump this month, and I just had my briefing. I'm happy with the way things are shaping up.
Good, yeah. Okay, well then I think we will just not have a caucus next week and or a board meeting, and then after that we will get on it. And I suppose by then that legislation will all be submitted to the governor's office for a review. My guess is at that point. So hopefully I saw in the inbox today we were getting some more feedback. So I know they're still listening to folks. But okay. With that, then I think that's our last thing to do. Have a great holiday next week. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a note. I did just have my meeting with Justin Nordhorn, Chris Thompson, and Bruce Turcott about the legislative package. The only comment that I made, a request that the approach be fine-tuned, is this. In the materials I reviewed, the practice of creating Delta-9 THC from hemp-derived CBD is addressed. My suggestion was, though, that process needs to be explained carefully before a non-sophisticated person, which is virtually everybody outside our building, can understand what's going on. It takes a while to figure out that, oh yeah, if we open up this hose of unregulated hemp into the cannabis market, we are going to obviate the need for farmers, or else considerably cut back. And we will also blow up the canopy because there's no way to correspond or figure out corresponding values of battery washed CBD and growing plants. So that was my only suggestion, that we spend some time really explaining that, because it's a difficult concept to get.
It is, and I would say, yeah, I'm glad you raised that. And so, and my understanding is the way it's written would be to say it would only, anything of that sort would only be allowed by approval of the board. And, you know, one of my concerns was, you know, when you say sophisticated actors outside our building, the most sophisticated actor is the one out there coming up with these compounds. And we're sort of running behind them trying to learn how to do it. So one of the questions I have is, what is our process for determining the safety of any conversion or product?
Yeah, as it was explained to me, and Justin Nordhorn was very explicit on this point, that the board will not have the authority under the proposed legislation to approve the introduction of hemp-derived THC into the system. that hemp-derived products, primarily CBD, can only be used in accordance with the original intention of the legislature, that is, as an enhancement to a psychoactive compound containing THC. And that is going to continue. So we will not have to face that question, at least this is as it was explained to me, of making a judgment call as to whether to open up this hose or not. That it is going to be limited. CBD derived from hemp or anything derived from hemp is going to be limited to non-psychoactive materials.
Well, I just got back in town, and so I'm going to have to check on that, because that, I have to say, was not my understanding of the ultimate piece. So I'll follow up on that today and see.
I'd appreciate. I had the same question, David, when it was first presented, and that was the answer I got. If that's not the answer, then that I comfortable with, then I don't want the board to be in the position of having to decide whether a whole sector of our license holders is going to have an economically viable pathway.
And where would that sort of scientific knowledge come into the process to make that determination? That was, like I said, my big question. So it's been a work in progress. Let me follow up, and I'll make sure that somebody lets all of us know what the final product looks like.
Okay.
Okay.
And my briefing with them is after this call, so I haven't had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's all right. I'll be interested to hear what you're told. So, okay.
Yeah.
I'll hopefully somebody's listening to this meeting now and will give me a ring. But if not, I'll reach out to Justin and get some hopefully clarification on that. I'll let you know, or I'll have him let y'all know.
Okay.
All right. And
All right,
I will be on a social equity meeting today from 4 to 7.
Wow. Okay. All
The
right.
Lord's work, Ollie. The Lord's
Yep.
work.
Yep. Yeah, I appreciate you putting all that time into it. So it must be getting close, right? We're going to see.
It's getting close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Well, I'm glad we had that conversation. Let me see what I can find out, and we'll make sure staff gets in touch. All right.
Righty. Bye-bye.
Thank you both. If I don't talk to you, have a great holiday.
You too.
Well, see you this afternoon, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh.
litigations.
See you then. Okay. All right. This will adjourn the meeting. Bye-bye.